And we're recording.
I am here with my friend Colleen Nichols. Hi, Colleen. Thank you for being here. I'm so excited for an excuse to, hang
Oh,
out.
speaking of excuse, I can't be on
Oh, girl.
the Champagne Society and not have.
You're wait, I did not get the memo. I fully
It's the Champagne Society, so I felt like I've never come into like an in-person event because I'm in Virginia and you guys always have champagne. So
Yeah. Oh,
I
you've been having FOMO? Yes.
have FOMO. So this is
You
what
get after it, girl.
it's
I
11,
love it. I love it.
45.
It's basically
It's basically 5 o'clock in the
afternoon.
UK, so we're fine.
Happy hour.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
Okay.
I just had a latte and I'm like, ugh.
I also have
Um,
I'm double fisting.
just
Sorry.
pour them together. Anyway, that actually reminded me. Okay, let's just go there. When I gave birth to my third, they had me drink this cocktail to induce him, and it's like castor oil, champagne. I use the word like shitty Andre bubbly something. Like there needs to be some alcohol in there, and then like peach nectar.
No.
I've had trouble with bubbly ever since that
This is a
experience.
problem.
But it got the baby out. I was like, should I change it to the Dos Equis Society
Oh,
or the White Wine Society? No, I can drink it, but it was a traumatic
That's
experience.
disgusting.
But the baby came out, so that was good.
He's perfect. So there you go.
Anyway, so I know Colleen. I've known you for years and years, like since I've become an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I actually just had this memory of wearing this same standard yellow tee that I think I got from TJ Maxx like 10 years ago in a video that you found on Instagram like 7 years ago or 6 years ago and commented on and were like, who the fuck are you? I love you. I love your, like I was wearing this shirt.
Stop.
Yeah. I remember because I remember
I was like, who is this person? I love her. I need to know her. That's why I love the internet, man. Like
I know, me too.
it's a gross place, but
I love
there's
it.
a lot of good that comes from it.
Well, yeah, it started. I mean, from there we kept in touch. We've worked together. I've watched you like totally transform your business.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about you today.
I know, but still,
I want you to tell the people kind of a little bit about your journey of getting here. I know you're also a mama of 3. You've got a lot of buns in the oven. You got a lot of stuff that you do at the moment.
Yeah.
So I don't even want to, I want you to start by saying like what you do now and how you got there would be awesome.
What I do now. Okay. So what I do now, I wear 2 business hats primarily. I have a direct sales business. Don't worry, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. And I also just recently launched a business for women in direct sales. So it's a premium like personal development and training community, and it's company agnostic, and it's kind of my goal to change the perception of the direct selling industry. So
which you are crushing, by the way. Like I love how you show up in direct sales, and I feel like you are like a gift to women in that industry to look up to and learn from.
Thanks. Yeah. So it's been a journey to yeah. How did I get here?
How did you get here? Because direct sales happen. So it's Rodan and Fields is your primary hat that you wear. And you started that how many years ago? I feel like
4.
We were both pregnant with our second.
Yes.
I also remember.
I had just had Oliver. So my background is in mental health counseling. I got my master's, and I was going to wear a pencil skirt and climb that ladder, and that was my dream in life. I felt like you made it if you like went to an office every day, which is hysterical.
I had the same dream, but except not. Yeah.
Right. But like
pencil skirt. What was up with that?
I don't know, but those were all the rage. Like a decade ago, I had many a pencil skirt, and I just felt so like cool,
grown up.
Yeah. And I just felt like that was it. Like that was my goal, is to get a job and go into an office. And then I got that, and I was like, ooh, this is for birds. Like I don't like this. And I first worked in a prison with male inmates, and then
wait, like an actual prison?
actual prison.
I thought you were being sarcastic.
No, I actually worked in a prison for about a year with male inmates.
What a breath of fresh air you must have been.
Yes, I know. And it took me a
Your
while
pencil
to like,
skirt.
I know, I was like, I had a Michael Kors watch. I just felt so out. And I remember like the first couple of days they gave me a lot of shit, like, what do you know? What do you know? And I was like, finally like, okay, well, I'm the only one who gets to leave here at 2:30. So like
I win.
I win. They're like, you're right. And then we were friends after that. But it took a minute. And then I transitioned to an employee assistance program, which is more like working with corporate individuals, corporate population. And everyone hated their job. Everyone hated their job. And I said to my husband, like, man, if we ever hate our jobs, like we need to just get out of it because it's not worth it. I'm talking to these 40-year-olds who hate it. So anyway, got pregnant with my first. He was born in 2015, and I decided that I was going to stay home because just so quickly how everything changes. I was like, I don't want to. And then that was a whole identity crisis of
You're
like
burning all the pencil skirts.
And like I had postpartum depression, but like loved the baby, didn't want to leave the baby. It's so expensive.
So wait, are you telling me that you weren't who you thought you were going to be once you became a mom?
So weird.
Are you trying to tell me that all the plans that you had made for yourself and controlled the whole scenario leading up to it just were burned in a fire as soon as the baby got here?
Overnight, it seems.
Yeah.
And I was like, wait, this is not.
Listen up, boys
and
girls.
Listen up, boys and girls. Anything that you ever went. I mean, so I laugh now when everyone who's having their first is like, well, this is how it's going to be. And I'm like,
here's the plan. That's cute.
You're so precious. I love that journey for you. But yeah, so I stayed home and my husband worked, made a great salary. We thought, oh, let's have another kid. So Jack was 16 months old. I was 5 months pregnant. And then Corey lost his job out of nowhere.
And he was like in a corporate.
He was in a very, corporate, very nice salary and a company car and all those things. And he called me and he's like, you need to come pick me up. Like, I don't have a car and now we don't have a paycheck. And so I did. And it was just that moment of like, I don't ever want to be in this position ever again. Like, it was just I don't know. So I wanted to make money from home. I tried to run my own businesses and from the ground up, and it was hard. And direct sales just was a turnkey opportunity that really fit me so perfectly at the time. But I was somebody who made fun of all of those people and judged it so hard and didn't want to tell my friends that I was doing it.
So wait, can we like pause there for a second? Because this is the time that I think you were like pregnant with your second, or I had just had my second, and I also dabbled in direct sales for a hot minute. And I saw you doing it with Rodan and Fields, and my it was like USANA, but it was called Momspired. It was like this whole supplements. And I had like made these connections with these women who are, by the way, now my coaches in a totally different business model.
I totally forgot about that.
Yeah. And I was like, oh fuck, direct sales is so weird, whatever. But then I saw you, and so I remember like DMing you on Instagram super late at night, like breastfeeding the baby, like, is this a good idea? Is this like, how's it going? Like, honestly, how's it going? It's cool, right? Like, we're cool. Like, we could still be cool and do this, right? Like, we could make a lot of money, right? And you were like, I'm loving it. And I was like, yeah, me too. And then I saw you doing it, and then I wasn't loving it, but I was trying so hard to love it.
Yeah.
And which I think is like for any career, it's like, I think it's part persistence, but also, is it a good fit too?
Right. Yeah.
And you had the persistence and you were a good fit. And I was like, yeah, I'm out.
Not for me. Yeah.
Not for me. But it's helped because I feel like now I had that judgment before, and then I did it for a year, and like, some people joined with me and I felt like responsible for them. And then I was like, oh, this whole thing. So anyway, but now I have a totally different perspective on it, which is why I was like, oh, let's talk about direct sales on this call. Like after you finish your journey, discussion, because it's so interesting and it's so rare to find a woman who is doing it, like who is a fit and persistent and also just owning it, you know, and is like funny. And I feel like you're just
Oh,
so
thanks.
awesome the way that you show up. So I just wanted to leave that little anecdote because I think it's funny. Not a lot of people know that about me.
I totally forgot that. And
Yeah.
I think the first, because when I started, when you're talking about like breastfeeding, like I literally built both businesses from
Yeah.
a nursing glider.
Yeah.
Like Rodan and Fields started when Oliver was 4 weeks old. I started direct sales growth community when Cooper was a couple months old, and
Oh my gosh.
in the middle of the pandemic. Like I birth babies and businesses. That's it. That's all I do.
I-
But yeah, so that I quickly like, rose to the top of the comp plan or whatever you want to call it. And I've loved it. And it's completely changed the entire trajectory of my family's life.
And now you have the car, right? Don't you have a company car now?
I earned the free car, right?
Oh, kismet.
Yeah. So
Love it.
I have the company car. But yeah, it's definitely been a thing. And I just have finally grown kind of frustrated with how the perception of the industry is still so negative, and how, oh my God, people prey on women or they do this, but also a lot of women do it really badly.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like both sides have some responsibility in how this moves forward. And I was just like, oh my God, nobody's saying what I'm thinking. So I
Time
created
to say it.
time to say it. I created
Yeah.
an Instagram account, and it just it blew up
Yeah.
quickly. And
Ugh.
so
I'm so
yeah,
happy for you.
thanks. It's been really fun. So
It's that reminded me, I like wanted to pull up what you wrote in our like whatever calendar invite, and it was like no shame sale. Wait, what is it? No shame sales game, which is brilliant, by the way, is an IG account for women in direct sales and direct sales growth community, is my premier training and personal development platform for women in network marketing who want to build a business like a normal human and not an MLM robot. I was like, brilliant.
That's it.
Like a normal human and not an MLM robot. And that is the disconnect, is I think a lot of the leaders are not the best. They're not hip to it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And I don't, everyone means well. Like,
Yes. Oh, totally.
everything that I say is not, I'm not bashing anyone.
Yeah.
Everyone means well.
Yeah.
But the people who have made millions in this business, a lot of them have been doing it for like a decade or years, and like shit's changed.
Yes.
And they're still preaching the same, like, make a list of 100 people.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah.
that's not how it works anymore.
It's like when my dad tells me to like put something, he's like, did you put an ad in the paper? When I was like, it was something, maybe it was for a nanny. And I was like, what? He's like, yeah, you got to put an ad in the paper. That's the best way to get. And I was like, no, that's not a thing. That's not a thing.
That's not, yeah, they just don't, it just changes so fast. And people come in and then they're like, I want to make some extra money. And then they're taught, I said it the other day on a video, I was like, if you wanted to build a house and you were given like Jello, like you wouldn't be able to do it. Like you're given the wrong substance, the wrong tools. And you're like, well, shit,
challenge.
work. Like, fuck this, I'm out. But if you have the right
resources, mentors,
and the right approach, which we're working on. We're working on it.
You know what I suspect? I'm just gonna, weigh in here.
Please.
I also feel that we're in an era where people desire to feel moved, right? And so a lot of us have been taking action from pushing, forcing, shoulding. That's what she's doing for so long, and it's not working for a lot of people. And so it doesn't actually matter what you're doing, whether it's like direct sales or like coaching or like CEO or whatever it is. But you want to feel moved to do it. And so that's why I think it's really important that there are people who you can look up to, who move you, who like excite you to do it. I mean, that's why, to apply it to my industry too, like I always have a coach that I'm working with, because it's like rocket fuel for me to move me forward, of like, I like how I'm excited to show up more because I'm inspired by the way that this person who has something I want is showing up.
Yes.
And so it sounds like that's what you're doing for your community.
Yeah, that's exactly it. There you go. Yeah. Done.
Yeah.
End of statement.
You can put that in the tagline.
Figured it out.
So let's talk about, like, how did you decide, okay, this is the right time to start my community. Did you start it before the pandemic? I mean, you already were pregnant, right?
So I gave birth the day the world shut down. I gave birth on
Cool. So cute.
March
Wait,
16th.
what was that like?
0 out of 10 stars recommend. I like when my husband and I, we literally went to therapy because like we couldn't, we did IVF. So we had one embryo left and I was like, we got to try it. We got to try it. He's like, I don't think so. I don't think so. So we literally go to therapy cause we can't have an argument about it. Like we could, it was just not getting us anywhere.
Yeah.
And, so he was like, logistics. And I'm like, listen, this is how it's going to work. I'm going to have the baby. Jack's going to go to kindergarten.
Bless. There you go again, trying to make plans. This lesson is coming up for you over and over.
Over and over. I was like,
so you're responsible for the pandemic.
I am the one. I'm
basically
responsible for all of it. I was like, we're going to have kindergarten. That's, all day. Oliver is going to be in preschool. We're going to have the baby at home. It's going to be so
turnkey comes to mind. So what was it like?
Happened. I've been at home for a year and some change with 3 children, not in school. Oh. Weeks ago, I got a babysitter.
Wait, sorry, you cut out for a second. What happened?
Oh,
You've been in.
Can you hear me?
Say it again. I've been at home for a year with 3 children.
Homeschooling and not going anywhere. And I just 4 weeks ago hired a babysitter.
Oh.
So it's been really hard.
Shit. Okay. How?
Don't know.
The question that comes to mind is how.
I don't know.
How anybody is doing, like, working with 3 kids without a babysitter. Because for me, I was like zero chance. Like for me, it either I don't know if this is again just like a personality thing, but for me, I hate doing both at the same time, which is, and again, why like network marketing was so not for me. But it was like
you're doing both all the time.
Yeah. And I think a lot of people thrive on that. Like it's a personality. But for me, I as soon as the pandemic hit, I was like, okay, well, I'm a mom now. And that's great. And that will serve, but don't expect anything on the business front. Like I have bandwidth for 0. So how have you done that?
I literally don't know. Like I said, like just getting the babysitter, it's like I realized what I had been doing. Like I didn't realize how hard it was. Like I have help 3 days a week now. And I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
What the fuck have I been doing? And she was out this week because whatever. And I was like, I can't do this. I can't do it. And my husband's like, well, you've been doing it. I'm like, but now I know the other side.
Yes.
I can't now function this way because I know what it could be. And I think for me, my personality is like, I know what I want, like short-term pain, long-term gain. That's literally, and then, so when the pandemic, I just didn't have another option, I feel like.
Yeah. Which I think is like, was universally felt. And I guess it's cool for you that you knew what you wanted, that you already were like, I want to do this membership community, or I don't even know if it's a membership.
Yeah. I didn't know that at the time, like when it started, it literally just came through a lot of, so he was born in March, and December is when it started, like when I launched it. So there was a couple months of like, what are we doing?
A couple months of what?
Just like, what are we doing? Like I was like feeling antsy and I needed to create something new.
Yes.
So that's what I did.
Yes. Huh.
Don't know how.
That's really interesting. I feel like I was feeling antsy, but I have this habit of like over giving.
Yeah.
Like my energy is so limited, and then it just like seeps out of me into my children, and there is nothing. Like there is literally nothing left. And so I couldn't even feel creative. Like I didn't even have the idea of what to do next. I was like, I would like to work with clients again. Like I would like to be coaching, but I couldn't like see to get there, you know, until and then, when our nanny came, I was like, whoa. Cause she came in maybe like August, July.
What is time, really? I don't know.
I think it was August. So March, April, May, June, July, August. So yeah, it was like 6-ish months that I was doing just being home with the 3 kids.
I don't
But
thrive.
what?
I don't thrive on that.
Yeah, well, and also it was like we couldn't do anything. Like now, I don't know how it is there, but
Yeah.
here, um, it's basically everything's normal except you wear a mask, except a lot of people don't wear a mask, but I'm into masks.
Yeah.
So I don't know how it was there, but we didn't do anything except play outside like in our neighborhood for literally 4 months. And so that made it so much more challenging. Obviously, this is not like a unique experience. I was just
No, but I think it is like something that we don't. I feel like a lot of moms and myself, maybe I'm the only one, doubt it, but like I haven't fully processed what this last year has, because it was just survival mode. And then, when you have these moments of like clarity, we can look back and be like, holy mother, like what did everyone just get through? Question of how'd you do it? I don't fucking know. But like it was just like one foot in front of the other, and you couldn't sit and think about how miserable. I mean, you could, and I did, and I cried pretty much every day. That became normal.
This brings up a question for me. So you said you got a sitter 4 weeks ago. So what made you decide to get a sitter, or what made you wait so long to get a sitter?
COVID.
COVID?
Yeah. It's so weird. Made me wait a long time because I was nervous to have anyone else come in. Just with a newborn, it was and then like the postpartum anxiety with a global pandemic, and it was just a lot.
I am by no means saying it's unjustified. I just am curious on your personal experience of it, because I feel like a lot of women have different reasons, and I wanted to see what yours were. So COVID, anxiety,
newborn, all that kind of stuff. Can you hear me? Am I good?
Yeah, you froze for a second, but you're back.
Yeah. So what made me do it? I finally was just like so pissed all the time. Like I couldn't do it all. Finally, like it got to the point where I was like, I cannot run this business and this business, have these kids, do this house. And like my husband is super like an equal party. Like there wasn't any like, there's not, but I think a lot falls on the moms. Like, well, I was called like default parenting. Like you're the one that everything defaults to. And I was feeling that, and I was like, something's got to give, and can't burn the house down, and the kids are stuck with us, so I need help.
Yeah. Corey works from home too, right?
He goes to an office. He has like a co-working space. Oh, nice. So that's nice for him.
Yeah. So how come he has a co-working space, but you don't? What's that about, Colleen?
What's that about? A couple things. One, he really enjoys it. I am an extrovert who doesn't like small talk or people. Like he's an introvert, but loves to like have that office chatter. And I'm like, that's like a 7th circle of hell for me. Like, I don't want to go and pretend to like talk to people about like the cookies or whatever. I'm like, just, if I'm going to work, I can just go in a bedroom. I'm manifesting a very big house with all the things that I need and want. It's not reality yet. But yeah, a home office. And I just want to work. I don't want to go and see people. I just want to work. So room.
I relate to that. And I was thinking, for me, it's been really nice working from home. I mean, now that we have the bigger house, and so this room that I'm in is like the office / guest room, but we don't have guests very often. And so it feels so good to me. I was in my bedroom office for like 6 years or something. Like a really long time. Yeah. And I was like, this is fine. This is fine. And then one day I was like, this is not fine. I can't take myself seriously. Like I need to zen out. I have kids everywhere. But I do really like that I take breaks and I just like run to the kitchen and make myself whatever I want. And then I kiss my baby, and then I like see how cute he is. And then I run back, or I like see my kid in virtual school and I'm like, what's going on? And then we like hug and have lunch together. And then like, okay, bye.
Right. It makes me feel like I'm a better mom when I like, I don't want to be gone I don't want to not see you for 6 or 8 hours.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to be with you.
Yeah. Ooh, so tricky. So tricky. Yeah. And so I thought that you worked from home with Corey. So then I was like, oh, do you feel that about Corey? But you don't see him all day.
No, we switch. So that's how it had been going. So like he'll work the morning until like after lunch, then I'd work till after lunch till like dinner time.
Okay. Do you eat
It
dinner at
was
5 like me, or is that just me? Okay.
yes, dinner 5. Yeah, everyone thinks I'm crazy.
Everyone thinks I'm crazy, but I'm like, isn't this like standard time that kids turn into wild animals and need to be fed?
My kids go to bed at 6:00.
I've
No.
never met somebody whose kids go to bed before mine, because mine go to bed at 7 and they're all different ages, as
Yeah,
you know. And
yeah,
I'm just like, no, you can read in bed. I don't care. Door shut. Goodbye.
done. We are done here now. Thank you.
6 o'clock.
It's probably, yeah, 6:00. I feel like the 6-year-old.
Respect.
Yeah. My mom, that was like the best parenting advice I ever got was if you start them going to bed early, that's all they'll ever know.
Hmm.
So that's just what I've done.
Yeah. Love
They're
it.
like, there's never like, the sun is out. I'm like, oh, the sun doesn't tell us when we go to bed. You sweet. Mommy
Mm.
does. And it's
Yeah. I'm the boss.
yeah.
I'm the queen, as I say in my house.
Yep.
I'm sorry. Are you in charge?
I'm there.
No. Who's the queen? You're the queen, mommy. And
Yeah.
and what's your job? What's your role? I'm the princess. Who makes the rules? The queen.
Oh my
You
God.
need to know where you
Your
stand in the
place.
totem pole so that we can have order
Yes. Oh, I'm
and
gonna
you
use
don't turn
that.
into a tiny asshole.
Yeah.
So
Oh, and
I
I'm
think
the
that's
only
okay.
girl, so I'm gonna definitely use that.
Yeah. I got it from someone for sure. I didn't make it up. So I want to kind of like dive into direct sales a little bit more and talk about what you see in the industry from women that that are drawn to it, that desire it, why they say no to themselves, like why they don't do it or why they do succeed or don't succeed. Like, you know,
All
just
the things. I think. Okay, so wait. So why are women not doing it, and then why is that what you're
I
saying?
think maybe my question is, what do you see as the biggest obstacle for
Mm,
women joining you
yeah. Oh,
ever?
yeah,
And
yeah.
then once they have joined you or a teams, now that you have lots of different types of companies under you, right? Or women from different
Mhm.
companies in your community,
Yeah.
what is their biggest challenge?
It's the perception of it,
The stigma.
the stigma. It's
Huh.
unreal to me. Like, and I don't.
It's the same answer for both of those questions. The
Yes,
biggest challenge to them joining is the stigma, and the biggest challenge to them succeeding is the stigma.
yes. Dude,
Wow.
like I'm like I'm not kidding. Like this is such a issue, and I don't an issue, but like within this industry, it's like when I talk to people who would be, and like let's be very clear, being in direct sales doesn't mean that you have to make it like your full time
Mm-hmm.
cash cow. Like
Mm-hmm.
for I think it's like 90% of people who join direct sales, an extra $300 to $500 a month is life changing.
Mm.
And that's not hard to make, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's this stigma of like, oh, I have to annoy my family and friends, I have to annoy people on social media, I have to be
Mm-hmm.
somebody I'm not. And I'm just like, that's so, or I have to have parties. I've never had a party. I
Mm.
don't know what a party's like. So yeah, it's the stigma. And then when they join, if they join my company, their company, whoever's company, people just get in their own heads, and it's like they don't understand like the opportunity that they're sitting on.
Wow. So you're telling me it's mindset.
It's it's all mindset. That's why I have you and so many freaking mindset people come into DSGC because these people,
It's all mindset.
but everything is.
Everything comes back to mindset. Because that's what I was saying about you when I watch you on the internet.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah, she's just owning it.
Yeah.
She's just owning it. And so again, people desire to be in your energy. They're like, oh, well, I like her. I want that.
Yes.
And I know like the times in my business where I've felt that for myself, it's like, oh, it's so easy to build a business when you are totally sovereign and convicted in what you're doing. But
Yeah.
do you think that it's also that women have this shame around selling and making
Oh,
money? Like
yeah.
not even selling, like making money. Like if a woman makes money, it has to be justified. Like, well, it's not for me. It's to pay for my kids' ballet school.
Oh my God. Yes. And this is so when I first started in 2017, and I tell people this all the time, like I got on Facebook was my platform more than I don't do Facebook anymore, but I got on Facebook Live every week for the first month in business and only talked about money, only talked about making money because that's why I joined. I wasn't going to get on there and be like, here's this product and everyone could love it, and you could look so beautiful. I'm like, fuck that. The reason I started is because I really want to make like $500 a month. I'd like to help out with groceries. Can anyone else feel me on that? Because I've been at the grocery store before, and I've had to literally check my debit account before I swipe, and that I don't like that shit. And then when you have that type of confidence and transparency, so many people are like, yes, I want to. So talking about money is so taboo, and so women don't. I train lots of teams, and I'm always like, are you talking about the business to people? Are you talking about money? And people are like, no, no. Why would anyone want to come make money with you if you're not confident in how you're talking about making money? Like, I don't, doesn't make sense to me.
But how did you get confident about, like what makes you different?
Mindset. I had failed at direct sales twice before, Rodan and Fields.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, and it was mindset.
It was totally mindset.
So then what shifted? That's so interesting.
Like literally the thoughts were, I have the same thoughts as everyone else. What's everyone going to think?
Yeah.
So embarrassed.
Yeah.
What if they see me fail again? What are they going to think about me doing this again? And then you ever have those, I know you have, those moments where like you literally hear
and stories in your head, and you're like,
no, like just like that clarity, like a voice is like telling you, like, not like a, but just it was this clarity of like, so
intuition.
if they're gonna watch you, why can't they watch you succeed? Like if they're gonna watch you, why can't you give them a show? And people are gonna watch you no matter what you do. And so that was if they're gonna watch me, why can't I? And then that was that. And don't get it twisted. Every time I got on Facebook Live, I wore black because I didn't want anyone to see my pit stains. I was sweating. I was so nervous. I didn't know what I was talking about. I had a newborn. It was awful, but I got on there anyway and said, like, if I can do it, you can do it. If she can do it, we can do it. Why don't we do it? And people did. So, and do still.
Yeah. And do you feel like you are able to give people that shift of just owning it by being near you and seeing that you're owning it?
Sometimes, but sometimes not. Everyone is ready in their own time for anything.
That's so
I'm
true.
a firm believer that like you can't motivate anybody to do anything and inspire people to do it. But I think sometimes I'm able to make that, but then sometimes people come in and they want it's so disheartening to see women, like they tell you what they want and then they won't act.
Yes.
And it's so disheartening.
The word that's coming up for me as you're saying that is permission.
Yes.
I'm thinking about, it's so interesting hearing you talk about this because I haven't put together, and I'm also thinking about like when in your journey we worked together, and I'm like trying to even think about like what we ever talked about, but how big permission is for women, because we know, like we get the intuitive hit or hear the voice or however you register your intuition. And it's like, why can't they see you succeed? Like, why is it only okay if they see you succeed for a nonprofit or just take up space, but just to be cute? Or like, what are these stories about visibility and women? And then I'm just thinking how powerful it has been in my life to have women, again, like speaking, like when I have my coaches and I'll come to the call and I was like, here's what I want to do. Here's what's feeling gross. Here's what feels really good. And I know it sounds ridiculous, but I need it reflected back to me that I have permission to just fucking do it. And I think it's just this unlearning of everything we're primed for growing up as women, which is just, it's culture in general. But you're taught like ask for permission, but to have women like you and me and the women who mentor us that to pay someone to give you permission to actually do what you want to do, what you could do, and just remind you like, yeah, you could do that. You're going to crush it. But it just gives you this rocket fuel of, I could own this. It's my choice. It's literally my choice. Yeah. How do I want to show up? Because they're watching anyway. So who loses if they watch and I don't make money? Like what is the fucked up, like
it's so fucked up
belief at play that makes it okay if I lose money and people watch, but not if I make money? What is that?
I literally don't know. And that's why I try to talk about it all the time, to just help like normalize it, or just to take away the shock value of it. Like, money is energy.
Yes.
And with energy, with more energy, you can do more, give more, be more, do all the things. I mean, shit, I've had to work on that my own self, but like, I don't know. It's just really, it's sad because I've talked to so many women over the past 4 years that could and would do very well in this industry as a normal human, not as a robot. And they just don't give themselves that permission to like do something there. If they think people, it's all like, what are people going to think of me? And I couldn't possibly. And I'm like, man, I didn't know we were still in like middle school where we're letting other women dictate what we do. But
so good. So good. It reminds me of, I went to this conference. I might have told the story before. I don't know. But I went to this conference in New York and Gabrielle Union was the speaker. And she was talking about the difference between how men and women show up. And she's like, I hope none of you guys are hashtagging this event like blessed to be in the room with Gabrielle Union. She's like, that if there's a man here, he's like, I'm not blessed. Like, wasn't I invited? Like, why am I blessed to be in this room with other women and like inspiring Gabrielle Union versus a man that just shows up because that's how he's been treated like historically throughout time. It's just like, yeah, you belong here. Yeah.
you belong here.
Don't worry about taking up space. Have that chair, right? And the woman is like, oh, I'm so lucky to be at this table. And it's like, dude, it's your house. That's your table.
You bought the table.
Like, you bought that table. Why are you even saying that? And when she pointed it out to me, I was like, that is so true. It's so true that women have this idea that they're not allowed to take up space unless it's in service of something else, their family, their kids, their husband. I was talking to a client recently who was talking about starting her own business, not direct marketing, but a different business. And she was like, well, I did the math and I've only spent $300 on the investment I would need. And I made $1,000 already. So it's okay. And I was like, also, so this is like the next layer of the money is, even if you spent $300 on a business, had a great fucking time.
Yeah.
Your family didn't suffer from the 300. I mean, this is a very nuanced situation, but this person has the money. Okay. Yep. So nobody's suffering because you spent $300 on the business and then you make no money, but you have a really great time. So does that matter? Does that count? Does that have value? And right. But now I'm like, think about what we're teaching our kids, thinking about like, okay, yeah, you can try that as long as you make money. Okay. You can play that sport as long as you win. Okay.
The fun is like taken out of everything.
Exactly. And making money is fun.
Thank you.
Super fun.
It's so fun. But even still, like I have women who do this, business and like, they just like having fun. They just like the fun part of it. And they don't make thousands of dollars a month, but they're having a fucking blast.
Yeah.
And I think that that's as equally important as, like it's not, money is very fun. Money is very important. Money is great. We should be able to talk about it, but like, you don't have to justify. And when I started Rodan and Fields, the kit structure was completely different than it is now, but it was $1,000 and Corey didn't have a job and I didn't have a job. And I went to him and I was like, I think of that, like knowing that like, okay, I know that this can be different. I have a good feeling about it, but I need to spend this money. And I thought for sure he would be like, are you nuts? Because he's a finance guy. And he was like, in the grand scheme of things, in a year from now, we're never going to be like, God, our life would be so different if we hadn't spent that $1,000.
I love that perspective.
And it's so true. I try to tell women that all the time. Like, okay, for fuck's sake, like even if it's not even being in the business, they won't spend money to like buy themselves a
cream or something.
Yeah.
It's just a face cream. It's not a house.
It's not a mortgage, a marriage, or a tattoo. That's what I tell people.
Or a baby. The only thing you can't undo.
And there's a money back guarantee. Like women just don't want to make money. They don't want to spend money. They just want to be. It's sad.
Well, I think it's awesome that you're giving them permission to talk about money, to make money. And you're just a beautiful example too with Corey.
Yeah.
For him to say that to you, I do think that we have not similar relationships, but like
Yes,
I do get the sense that both of us have our husbands as our biggest fans.
100%.
And Kevin, sometimes he's like, I don't understand why we've spent so much money. But I'm like, well, my intuition is telling me it's like, we got to do it. And he's like, okay. Like,
Trust
he
me.
understands that the metric for a good, fulfilling, successful life on planet Earth is not only how much money in your bank account.
Yes.
And if there is something that you feel so strongly intuitively, I want this, and you have a good time, learn something, and then have the potential to make way more money, that's okay too, right? But that was definitely like a mindset shift for him. But he was always just, we had this relationship where he trusted me and he respected me, and we had that equal partnership, which I
Really.
get the sense that you guys have. Do you feel like Corey, has there ever been a time in your relationship where he hasn't played that role and you've had to, I don't know, convince him or shift him to the other side?
Oh, sure. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's my biggest supporter and biggest fan, but he's also not like a yes man. So like if if I bring an idea, he's like, okay, well, why do you think that? Or and there's been times where we've totally disagreed. And I'm not, he's so like numbers and figures based, and I'm so
Yeah.
emotional. Like,
Mhm.
and he's like, well, what's the ROI? What's the,
Oh,
and I'm like, I just
barf.
know that I'm supposed to do it. Like, he's like, okay. He's like, go get your crystals and like do whatever, like charge your stuff in the moonlight. And I'm like, yes, that's what I'm gonna do. And I mean, it's all in jest, but like, yes, there have been times. I mean, God, we argue. Like, there's no. I'm
Yeah.
not gonna
It's
paint
a
like a.
normal
It's a
normal
normal
marriage.
marriage, yes, but
Mm.
ultimately, he's like, whatever, but do what you want to do.
Is that it though? Like at the end of the day, because I do think a lot of women are curious about this, at least in my marriage. It's like, well, do you need his permission? Or what do you do when there's pushback? Like, if there's pushback, do you keep pushing? Or is he ultimately like, okay, whatever you want to do? I disagree, but do what you want to do.
I think ultimately that's what it is. He's never told me no. And he's
Yeah.
never said like you need my permission. But also it goes back to like that equal partnership of like if I want to spend a certain amount of money or do a certain thing that affects him as well,
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna we have to have a conversation about it.
Yeah.
And if it's just that mutual respect of like, okay, well, I want to
Mm-hmm.
spend $2,000 or $3,000, or even $500 or whatever. I want to go
Mm-hmm.
away for the weekend. Um, it's he's never going to say no.
Yeah. Well, and also I think like what I've learned is changing the language so that the I'll give you the ROI. I'm going to go away for the weekend. And when I come back, I'm going to be really fucking happy. And I'm going to have so much energy, and I'm going to be inspired to work. I'm going to be inspired to mother, and I deserve to feel human, and I don't feel human right now. And that,
Oh,
I
that's,
feel, that
oh,
needs to be
good.
part of the conversation with the men. They need to understand that ROI is language and numbers created by men for men in a masculine world that does not exist,
Yeah.
because the world is filled with women who are super confused because they're
Yeah.
like, ROI, I don't, that's, and then they're like, what? You guys are talking about your intuition? And it's like, okay, if 50% of the population thinks that manage like planning your life around ROI and numbers doesn't feel good, and 50% of the population, I'm of
Right.
course assuming and exaggerating and stereotyping here, but let's just like play this out, is like, okay, I have a feeling. Like
Yeah.
I have a feeling. I don't know. I can't give you a spreadsheet, but I know in my gut and in my heart that this is for me.
Mhm.
It's almost like we got to find a way for the men and the women to speak the same language,
Yes.
right?
Yes. And
Yeah.
that's not my business model. So like find
Yeah.
me somebody who can help me have those conversations. Well, our therapist,
Yeah.
but that's what she's for. But yeah, it's the permission thing that could go in. I mean, that's
Mm.
another thing when it comes to direct sales. and women, it's, yes, I so want to do this. And then my husband won't let me. My husband said no. And I'm like, husband said no.
Yeah. Because won't let me is not the reflection of mutual respect.
Correct. And it's
That's not partnership. That doesn't mean that you and I are going around doing whatever the F we want.
No.
Of course, we have conversations, but it's like mutual respect. That means even if you don't understand the ROI, I will explain it to you and I will stand in my power and let you know this is a yes for me. And yeah, like having a conversation so that there's no scenario where one of you says no. Right?
Yeah. And I think so many women, I'm sure you find this with all like your clients, but like so many women just want something like for themselves, like outside of their marriage or their children, or like, and I feel like that's what direct sales does for a lot of women. Like it's not some super serious thing. It's just, I want something fun for me. And that's a really difficult conversation, I think, for a lot of women to have. Like, I just want to, like, I just want to, and they can't because there's even like a tiny, tiny price tag attached to it, and they can't make the, I don't know. I'm working on it.
I feel like you're working on it. And I feel like this is where it needs to go. I think just for women in general, whether it's direct sales or anything, it's like, because I want to needs to be a full sentence and not be a direct attack against our partners. Because our partners, how come the men can say, I was invited because I want to, like there does seem to be this imbalance. And again, I'm not speaking of our marriages, but I just think
it's a theme
in our society and yeah, what is the price tag on joy? Like, what is the point? What is the point? Like, if just the ROI was enough to make a happy life, we'd have a lot more happier people in the world.
But we don't.
We don't, because we're missing 50% of the population's input, which is, I have a feeling this would be fun and bring fun to our lives and make me happy and make me a happier mom and a happier human. And then I'd be fun to be around. And then we have things to look forward to, but that hasn't been valued and prized in our culture. And so it's like, you got to bring that back, girl.
Right. Yeah. Oh my God. Yes.
You do that. I'll do it over here, but you do it over there. You got it?
Yeah.
Just give you homework.
God, thank you. It's been a while. Like, thank you.
Oh my God. All right. Well, I want to acknowledge you and just let you know that you are just such a bright light in the world. And I love being connected to you. I've loved the different ways that we have come in and out of each other's lives. And I hope that it stays that way. And let's just keep banging the drum together in our own little corners of the internet, just having fun. I feel like you and I just have fun on the internet, and it's a crazy concept.
It's really, when people are like, how do you grow? And I'm like, just
do what you want.
Do what you want and have fun. Like, stop being, it's sad that I have to tell people, like, you can be funny. You can use humor. Not everything is so serious. Like, you're talking about fucking eye cream. Like, it's not, no fire. Nothing is serious.
I love it though.
So yeah.
You have to go follow Colleen on Instagram. Her reels, like, I die. The one I just saw is like, I'm a very accepting person, but there's one person that I cannot. And it was like, and then you come on the reel and it's like the face mask under the nose. I was dying laughing because you do kind of wonder. You're like, I don't understand.
I got a couple Karens on that one.
I bet.
I knew I would. And I'm like, listen, I'm not talking about who you voted for.
You're like, I'm just being funny. Relájate.
Stop. And everyone's like, well, you should cover your eyes too, because it can get. I'm like, Jesus Christ. Like, oh, okay, Bridget, like, that's fine. Never mind.
Never mind.
It's so weird that like trying to be funny and lighthearted is a foreign. Everything's serious on the internet and everyone.
Yes.
Anyway.
Well, that's truly what I wanted to acknowledge you for. I feel like it's so nice to have somebody else on the internet that I feel like, I don't know, I can't speak for you, but my experience of watching you reminds me of myself, where I'm like, I can't get caught up in the metrics. I can't get caught up. I don't know, like followers and all that. Like, I'm just going to do my work and
Yeah.
I'm going to have fun. And it's like, if I want to make a funny reel, I'm going to do it, not because I'm tracking to see if it's going viral. It's just
Yeah.
like, either if this is going to help someone or inspire someone or be fun for me, I'm just going to do it. And it's just, yeah,
Yeah.
I want to acknowledge you for showing up that way and just giving other women permission. Like, it
Thanks.
doesn't have to be so serious.
Really doesn't.
It
And
really.
like you're like seriously, like you said, like 7 years ago, I found you on the internet and I was like, this is this is somebody who gets it. I want to be
Yeah.
around her and
Yeah.
continue to do it. And so thanks for letting me like be in your orbit.
Of course. Same, same. People are going to want to, follow you, keep in touch. So how can they work with you, support you, follow you on
Um,
Instagram?
yeah, so they can follow me on Instagram at No Shame Sales Game. That's the if you're in direct sales, you probably like that. Um, and you'll see links to the direct sales growth community if you want trainings and personal development and all that community fun stuff. And then Colleen _Nichols if you just want to come to the circus. So
I'll put it in the
yeah.
show notes. Thank you for your time, my
Thank you,
friend.
friend. I will see
Bye.
you soon. Bye. I'll stop.